Recently, the Alabaster Calling Card event made a return in Blue Archive JP, with Banitoki and Maid Aris's banners being rerun, as well as the introduction of Maid Momoi's and Maid Midori's banners. So, while I might be more than a week late, I thought I'd try something different. Thus, in today's video, I'll be doing a pre-analysis of both Maid Momoi and Maid Midori. Keep in mind that this is a pre-analysis and not a final review, so there might be some stuff that we aren't sure about the units yet, until they're fully tested. I will still make a final review on them once they arrive in Global, since enough time would have passed and much testing would have been done by then. But anyways, for now, here is a pre-analysis of both Maid Momoi and Maid Midori. In the right hand corner, we have the cute clumsy klutz of the Saiba Twins, and the scenario writer of the game development department, as well as the biggest racer. Gamer in her club, it's Maid Momoi. And on the left hand side, we have the younger of the twins, the introverted illustrator of the GDD who's deeply in love with Sensei, to the point of being a yandere, it's Maid Midori. They are both brand new Sonic DPS units who wear red armor, and they have the same terrain moods. The combat power in urban terrains, S in field and B in indoors. Obviously, they also rock the standard DPS equipment set. Let's look at Maid Momoi's skills first. Her 4-cost EX skill makes her immediately reload, where she then changes her normal attack to deal additional damage based off a percentage of her attack, while increasing her attack speed and ignoring regular normal attack intervals up to 100 times, with this effect ending the next time she reloads. Her basic skill deals damage to one enemy every 50 seconds. Her crit damage is increased with her enhanced skill, and for her sub skill, after using her EX, she replenishes the ammo consumed by normal attacks for a certain duration. At UA 40, she gains extra crit rate on her enhanced skill plus, and at UA 50, her field combat power improves from S to SS. Now, for Maid Midori's skills. She has a 5-cost EX skill, which deals a buttload of damage to one enemy, and with her basic skill, which activates every 30 seconds, her attack is increased for 23 seconds. Her enhanced skill further boosts her attack, and her sub-skill increases her crit chance for 10 seconds when using her EX. She gains additional sonic effectiveness at UA 40 with her enhanced skill plus, and similar to her sister, her field combat power upgrades from S to SS at UA 50. Looking at both their kits, you can already tell that Maid Momoi and Maid Midori are single target damage dealers, but they have different specialties. Focusing on Maid Midori first, she specializes in dealing a ton of burst damage with her EX skill, and this is possible due to a number of reasons. First, it has an extremely high multiplier of 1738% at max level, though its 5 cost is a little too high, but makes sense because it balances out her high damage. Next, Maid Midori has a few attack self-buffs that make her even stronger, her enhanced skill and her basic skill, which has a pretty short downtime of 7 seconds as well. Not only that, Maid Midori's sub-skill will also be very useful in my opinion, as it increases her chances of critting with her EX and normal attacks after, by more than half at max level. Maid Midori's kit already kind of feels like Maid Aris's. And as we know, our favorite robot daughter loves to make us crit more. But how can you stay mad at her? She's adorable. And yes, I know her unique item just got introduced to reduce this issue, but that's a discussion for another day. Anyways, I personally feel that Maid Midori won't have as bad as a crit problem like Maid Aris does, due to her sub-skill increasing her crit chance whenever she uses her EX by a whole 57%. Not saying that you won't crit more, but it definitely won't be as bad as Maid Aris's. Finally, Maid Midori also gains additional sonic effectiveness at UA 40, which will not only greatly boost her purple damage, since like every other student who has weakness effectiveness buffs on their enhanced skill plus, she receives nearly 50% extra sonic effectiveness at max level skill, but it can also stack with Kikyo's sonic effectiveness buff, as they are from different sources, making it pretty worth it to get UE40 Maid Midori in my opinion, so that her damage output is massively increased. Thus, as you can see, Maid Midori's kit is quite simple and straightforward. Lots of passive self buffs to improve her already heavy hitting EX skill and her damage output. Next, let's shift our focus from Maid Midori to Maid Momoi. The older of the Saiba sisters is mainly a pretty solid auto-attacking or AA unit, and her kit is also relatively simple. Use her EX, then let her normal attacks do the work. Alright, review done. Pack it up, boys. Okay, jokes aside, I feel that firstly, her EX skill is quite good, as her attack speed is increased by a whopping 85% at max level, and her normal attacks now deal damage based off 56% of her attack stat at max level, which may not seem like a lot, but it is decent in my opinion, as well as ignoring attack delay 100 times, which is also quite nice. But how does it compare to someone like Swimsuit no Nomi, or better yet Kirara? I ain't too sure yet, and testing definitely needs to be conducted. Other than that, she also has a crit damage self buff on her enhanced skill and increased crit rate at UE40, both of which will of course increase her damage output. But in my opinion, unlike her sister, I don't think you will need her to be UE40, cause while extra crit rate is nice, it is definitely not required for an AA unit. Finally, her sub-skill can be quite useful, as it basically gives her unlimited ammo for a certain duration after activating her EX, letting her continuously attack. However, the one problem I feel that Maid Momoi has is her basic skill. While it does deal quite a bit of damage, with a good multiplier of 788% at max level, it only activates every 50 seconds, which is really long and detrimental to an AA student, whose damage sources are their normal attacks and basic skill. This long duration on her basic skill means that she won't proc it as often, leading to her DPS potentially being lower. But all in all, as you can see, Momoi has a pretty simple and good set of skills which synergize with one another, making her a solid AA unit. In terms of usage for both students, Maid Momoi and Maid Midori will obviously shine in purple content that require single target sonic DPS units. But so far, there seems to be a lack of it. However, with the introduction of Kirara, another single target sonic damage dealer, and all three of them having red armor, it seems like the devs are gearing us up for possibly a new elastic armored TFS. PS, TFS means Fury of Set, for you senseis who have Destiny 2 brain rot like me. It doesn't mean the final shape, okay? I know it's releasing in a few days, but don't get confused, alright? Or maybe Purple Grand Assault stages. Or perhaps, most likely, a new elastic raid that needs sonic single target damage dealers. But until then, in my opinion, Maid Momoi and Maid Midori won't really see much use in what limited purple content we currently have. For joint firing drills, we haven't gotten the elastic armored jack-in-the-box thing, while for Kurokage, they aren't that great even for one of your insane/torment teams, cause AoE purple units are highly preferred in order to damage Kurokage and its multiple flame fragments. As for Mystic Raids, since Sonic deals 1.5 times damage against blue armored enemies, they could potentially see some use in ones with singular targets. For example, Shirokuro and possibly Gauss Phase 2, though the latter deals explosive damage on Insane and Torment, so they might not be the best units to bring in. On the other hand, if they do introduce elastic Grand Assault stages, then Maid Momoi and Maid Midori could be useful in raids like Purple Bina, Purple Kaiten Phase 2, perhaps Purple Horde, or even Purple Wakamo Hovercraft. In these raids, you would be able to use Maid Midori as the main hyper carry in one of your teams, as she should have the firepower to nuke the boss. Meanwhile, Maid Momoi would probably only be utilized in AA focused teams, or perhaps as a sub DPS alongside her sister, though again, we need to further test them out. But unlike their regular version, you don't have to use both of them in the same team, as their kits aren't reliant on each other, but you can if you want to see their cute and wholesome victory animation. Overall, Maid Momoi is a fairly solid Sonic auto attacker, while Maid Midori is a pretty powerful Sonic DPS unit. However, unlike Global, where I can mostly determine whether you should pull or skip a character, such is not the case for these two units, as there is a lack of purple content to test them in and unleash their full potential, so we don't actually know how good they hold up in these content. Nevertheless, if you play JP, you may still pull for either one of them if you want to be prepared for whatever new purple content that Nexon/Yostar decides to throw at us in the upcoming future, or if they're your waifus. And hey, I know there are a lot of Momoi and Midori fans. If you do decide to pull for them in terms of gameplay, I would honestly suggest pulling for Midori over Momoi, as I feel that DPS units who can easily nuke enemies are way more worth it and see more use compared to AA students. However, if you prefer Momoi instead, or you want the both of them, then by all means, go ahead and pull, cause you'll be getting this adorable L2D and this. Look at our little racist gamer gremlin sleeping. She can give our OG son and everyone's superstar Racer a run for their money. Meanwhile, you can also skip them if you really don't give a shit about purple content, or if you prefer to pull for Bunny Toki or Maid Aris, or if you're saving for other units, especially with summer beginning in Japan. If you don't know what I'm talking about, or you didn't read my community post, let me explain. Summer in Japan starts around June. And what does that mean? Swimsuit students. And with Swimsuit Serika quote-unquote kinda confirmed as a rerun character, it leaves us with one more batch of swimsuit characters. That's right, it's Swimsuit Aries, baby! Now, I'm most likely copiuming here, but I believe that Swimsuit Aries will be released as soon as this month. And there is a chance that they could also be Purple Sonic DPS units, potentially even better than Maid Momoi and Maid Midori. Not to mention the 3.5 anniversary is around July as well, so if you're a JP player and you forgot to take your pills like I have, you may start coping and skipping Maid Momoi and Maid Midori to save for Swimsuit Aries or whatever units that will be announced during the 3.5 anniversary. And that's all for this week's review. Keep in mind again that this is only a pre-analysis of Maid Momoi and Maid Midori, not the final review, which I will make once they are released in Global. Not only that, again please take my words with a pinch of salt, as this is a pre-analysis, and further testing is definitely required to fully gauge their usefulness and damage potential. Finally, this is especially for the newer players. Remember that they are currently only out in JP, not in Global, so please do not get confused, they ain't coming to Global anytime soon. Anyways, let me know if you like this type of video and I may consider doing it more. Also, if you play in JP, let me know if you're pulling or pulled for them, and I'll see y'all in the next one.